8 in a row. We've averaged, 16 hours of training and content in the last 8 days. And here we are again today. Rajesh, good to see you here. A bunch of people joining us on the live call, which is great to see. Look, the thing I guess I wanted to talk about today was the focus of generating clients, right? Just adjusting my camera there, maybe getting a bit of height on my table here. But the focus of just doing the thing that we need to do to go and get customers. And I've covered a lot of ground. I've covered how to select a niche market. I've covered getting high quality leads and lists. I've covered a whole bunch of tactical things over the last 7 days. And if you apply any of those strategies, I guarantee you that you're going to be closer to generating clients who want to invest in your services. And so I guess today, I actually had the opportunity, because it's now the 4th of January in my world, which is Monday, Sunday for our American cousins, Monday in the evening or early in the hours for our European cousins who are joining us on the live calls. We're in the first week of the new year, the first business week of the new year. And I figure what better way to start the new year than to go and get a customer quickly. And so how do we go about doing that? And I was fortunate enough this morning, very early morning, my time, to be on a call with my coach. In fact, I had 2 coaching calls today with my coaches who are coaching me in my business. And so I guess really, we talked about this whole thing about, the pragmatic approach to going out there and just generating clients. And we were, there's a fantastic book that's written by Hal Elrod and Cameron Herold called The Miracle Morning. I highly recommend that book. Hal Elrod and Cameron Herold, The Miracle Morning. It talks about the routine, the consistency, the things that you do every day that matter, right? That you consciously do to connect with what actually matters. And so if you're out there wanting to bring on a client, then the things that you need to be thinking about is the activity or the activities that you need to be doing on a consistent basis, on a daily basis, perhaps even as a routine, to go and get that client. And sometimes I know that I might be tried in saying that, you've got to make an offer. You hear me talking about this, you'll hear other people talking about this, that you've got to make an offer, you've got to make an offer, you've got to make an offer. Well, it's true. If you don't have something in front of something that somebody can respond to or engage with, or you don't direct somebody's attention to something that will be of value or of benefit to them, then it's very difficult for them to actually work with you. In fact, it's almost like you've got to come to the party first, right? You've got to provide some value, some opportunity, some reasoning to engage that question. And we talk about things like solving the problem. What's the problem we solve? And many people look at a problem superficially. Like, one of the problems in the marketing game is leads. Like, everybody needs leads. Everybody wants leads, right? So I can talk to business and say, yeah, you want leads? I go, yeah, I want leads, right? But then it's like, well, how many, right? Haven't thought about that. Haven't thought about how many. How many clients can you handle? Right? Like, if we gave you 100 leads and you can only handle 1 or 2 clients, then you're gonna burn a lot of the opportunities, right? So then it goes back to, well, what do we really want? What is the strategy? What is the thing that's stopping us from getting the thing that we actually really want? Maybe the clients or the people you deal with don't want 100 leads. Maybe they want 4 or 5 clients every week. From those 4 or 5 clients, they may need 100 leads a month or 200 leads, depending on what their sales process is, right? But what is the problem? Why aren't they getting the leads right now? What has worked? What hasn't worked? What will work right now in your understanding, your skill, if you're the lead generator, right? And the other point of this is, how do we turn that lead? If we're going to get a lead, what happens to that lead, right? If you want to maximize conversions, you want to ask your client, when we send you a lead, what do you do with that lead, right? Do you pick up the phone and call them? Do they have to follow some form of process, fill in a form, engage with you, right? What happens to the person who puts up their hand and says yes to your offer, right? They've taken the time, or they may visit a web page or a website and something is shared on that location. What is the actual process to helping that lead from the initial I'm interested to yeah, I want to buy this thing, here's my credit card, let's go. Or hey, yeah, let's get the agreement, let's do the invoice, let's pay, let's go. What is that journey? And that's the thing that we need to understand. If we're in the marketing game, if we're in a lead generation game, we need to understand what happens to that lead. How do we maximize the opportunity of that lead to become a customer? How do we make sure that we've got the right offer that attracts the right customer with the right ability to pay, to buy? What is that journey? What is that process? These are the things that we need to understand from a pragmatic point of view. And if we can speak to that, and maybe we speak to that in our offer, maybe it's not about a lead, maybe it's about actually mapping out an easy path for a client to buy. Let's craft a strategy or an offer that engages a customer that is ideal, who is interested, and then what is the process to help them answer the questions they need answered to be able to help them to actually buy the product. If you offered or had that conversation with somebody and say, hey, I'm just looking at talking to business owners about the buyer's journey. I'm talking about what happens, what is the process that a customer goes through when they're looking for the product or service that you're offering. What are some of the things that they are attracted to in the product that you're offering? What are some of the problems that your product or service solves? How does that person look for your product or service? What information are they asking for in looking for your product or service? If we just had that as an offer, say, hey, rather than talk about generating lead, what if we actually talked about having only or working towards maximizing or optimizing a customer that wants to buy? Can we have that conversation? If you're a lead generator, that's a different offer to let me bring you leads, right? If you're a lead generator, hey, we're working on a plan and a strategy that only attracts and engages a customer who actually wants to buy. I'd love to be able to talk to you about that process, right? Or that plan. That's an offer that you can make to anybody who's in business, in your even in your niche. If you understand, if you can zero it into a niche, even better. Right? Hey, I'm only talking to people in this niche about the buyer's journey, and more importantly, the idea is to actually add value, build the asset, have incremental growth by doing that. Imagine engaging actively in people who are actually interested in what you have to buy, and fine-tuning that message and that process to make sure that you're getting a much stronger and a better and a consistent outcome in doing that. Right? So there's an offer, there's a strategy that you can put into practice, and I will be answering some questions and I will help you along the way if you want me to help you with your journey in terms of generating a client. But if I was wanting to generate a client in the next 3 days, my first thing is what is something that's going to be relevant, that is going to be something that be useful, right? Something that I can do very quickly. What is my offer to the market? That's number one, right? From that offer, what's the next step? What do we need to do? We need to have that conversation. Or maybe it might be, hey, do you mind answering a couple of questions, where you might automate that process or throw a Google Doc and say, hey, I'm asking through, love to know your perspective on this, and maybe start a dialogue that steps into, hey, let's get on a call, right? So instead of going straight to let's get on a call, it might be, hey, I'm doing this. Which of these things are of interest? And then start the conversation that way with a person. That's another process or another approach to getting somebody on the phone. Another thing is, to generate a client, you can make a direct offer. You can literally sit there and say, hey, I've got a method, strategy that does this. Here's the problem it solves. This is the frame that we've got going on. Here's the outcome we're looking to implement. We normally have this investment. What we're doing is we're looking for somebody to start, and we're actually willing to forego a setup fee and get straight into getting this thing. So we want to give $1,000 worth of cash or $2,000 worth of cash of our own money and put into your campaign. Now, you're not giving any cash, you're giving the perceived value of what you would normally charge for a setup fee. And most people in our world don't charge people a setup fee. If you're not charging a setup fee, have a setup fee. And perhaps as a strategy, you might use that setup fee as the incentive to get going, right? As the incentive to get started as a process. So there's an offer, right? There's something that you can use to craft an offer. But again, it's all about relevancy. What's relevant right now? So here we are. Let's look at some relevant ideas or relevant offers that we could be offering right now to the marketplace. And I'm happy to answer questions as we go along. But more importantly, I want to kind of focus on some of the practical, pragmatic things that we need to do to go and get a paying customer today, tomorrow, the next day, the next day after that. In the next 3 days, maybe that's the goal. Maybe you say, hey, we want to get a paying customer in the next 72 hours. That's the objective. Well, to be able to do that, I've got to start some conversations. Who am I going to start a conversation with? Well, if you have a list, you can start the conversation with that list. If you have a familiar list and you want to say, hey, I've got the offer, I've got the idea, who's interested? What are some of the excuses or the relevant things that you can talk about? Because right now we're in January, the first week of January 2021. And I would imagine the number one thing is, hey, what's your plan? What's your plan for the next month? What's your plan for the next 3 months? What's your plan for your business? What if you actually have the ability to map out your client acquisition for an entire year and work towards a predictable, consistent client acquisition strategy? That's something I'm talking to people right now. If you're interested in taking advantage of that plan, we normally charge $3,000 to $5,000 to do something like that. But if you're actually looking to get serious about acquiring customers, I'd love to share that concept with you. There's an offer that you can make, is to sit down for an hour with somebody and say, hey, let's map it out. Let's look at what's happened in the past. Let's look at some history so we know where we're going from. Let's look at where you are right now today, and then let's look at where you want to be. And so the question that you're going to answer is, what has to happen from here to here? What are we going to do? What's the strategy? What's an offer? How are we going to launch that? What are our options, right? How can we use your service as an option to run that opportunity? There is another offer that you can make that's relevant, that's current, that's useful, right? Most people say it's not about goal setting. This is about actually doing a practical, pragmatic business development focus for the business. And so you're doing something different. You're adding value in a very different way of doing that. Now, some people are going to say, John, but what questions do you ask? Well, watch the trainings that I've done in the last number of days, and I've given literally dozens and dozens of questions that you want to know, that you want to ask. And these are things that you probably want to know even beforehand, before you're going to talk to people about some of the things that are critical. Remember, I just said a moment ago, understanding the buyer's journey, right? How does a customer buy? Well, ask the question, have you ever done an assessment on how and why your customers chose to buy from you instead of going to a competitor? If we can understand why that happens, then we can craft a message or an offer as part of your strategy to actually get a better result in your sales opportunity, or sales conversions, or lead generation, right? We can interview your top 6 clients and ask them why they bought, why they're happy, right? Why they like you, why would they refer you, right? We can do a lean stack, just 6. Right? And you can actually offer that as a service. Hey, we're doing a lean stack survey to get the ideal client buyer's persona so that you can craft a cornerstone strategy and an offer to just zero in to target markets or clients that want to buy. There's an email right there for you, right? Which you can do. And there's this cool website, it's called LeanStack, LeanStack.com, LeanStack.com. If you go to that website, it's free, and it actually gives you the whole structure and strategy of actually understanding that buyer's journey. So you can actually take that resource, put it out on a document, and go and walk through the process to identify the ideal buyer's journey. And you can charge for that before you do your lead generation or your Facebook or your AdWords or that service. You can actually offer that as a service. In fact, that could be a great product category that you enter into your stream of products you offer to the market. And maybe it's the beginning of the sales process for a client, right? Maybe it's the beginning. You might do a short lean stack version, right? Or a more extensive one, which you charge for. You can use that as a product, right? One of the things that I recommend everybody do is to have a paid strategy. Sell a paid strategy as a product category. What happens, right? There's time, there's planning. The thing that I just said, right? Sit down and say, hey, what happens before? What happens during? What happens in interaction with you? What is the step-by-step? If we can map that out now, what's your lead gen strategy to put that offer out to? Right? Where are you putting that offer? Now, I'd like you to think about this from the point of view of how does this apply? You could do this as a copywriter. You could do this as an email marketing specialist. You could do this as a sales funnel person, a sales automation person. You could do this as a web developer. It's the same thing, right? Understand how and why a client buys. And if you understand how and why a client buys your service, you can align your strategy, your offer to suit that outcome, right? So number one, if we want to go and get a client in the next 3 days, is we've got to come up with an offer, something relevant, something fresh, something perhaps it doesn't have to be the new thing, but it's new for 2021. It's new for now, right? People love things that are new, right? If you've got a checklist or a cheat sheet or a resource or something that you use and say, hey, would you like this thing? And by the way, if you do get this thing, you take the next step and say, I'd love to get some feedback. Or if you want, I can work you through that process, right? So you get a better understanding. The value of doing that is you're going to get a better result. You're going to be more clear. You're going to be more focused. And more importantly, maybe there are other ways that we might be able to help you. That is the offer of help. Now, you'll notice in the first 17 minutes, I've given you 6 different strategies. In the first 17 minutes of our discussion here, I've given you six different strategies, the text and copy and structure that you can use. And you can apply this to any discipline or any principle that you have in the marketplace, right? So the other thing is, right, no, Chris, I would not offer that as a service at all. Answering your question, not at all, right? Because you need to be a master of that first. You need to be the master of our process. If you're going to offer something to market, you really need to know how that works, how that's going to work, what your process is, because then you have to redefine that entire process for your clients. So to answer your question, Chris, I wouldn't do that. No way. Use it to generate your opportunities first, right? Know your stuff, because if you half-ass it, you're going to look really stupid and it's going to have an impact on you. And you don't want to look stupid to people when you don't know what you're talking about if you haven't really integrated the idea and the concept into your own understanding. Learn first, know your stuff, then you can go. What most people do is they go, oh, I've got a bright and shiny object idea. What if I go and do that? And they half-ass it, and then they end up with egg on their face, and they end up with problems, and they end up with support questions that they can't answer, and all those sorts of things. So to answer your question, Chris, if you're using a third-party software, unless you are personally using a third-party software and you are successfully generating the outcomes of utilizing that third-party software, I wouldn't be sharing that with anybody, right? Because then you want to be the expert first. Then you can go, okay, great. You can package it up, or you can put that into some sort of process. But at the end of the day, can you do that? Yes, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you become the expert. You know all the pitfalls, you know all the dangers, you know all the mistakes, you know how it works, you know how it doesn't work. If that's the case, then my answer to your question, Chris, is sure, by all means, do that. Right. So getting back to this concept, right, of offers into the marketplace. Yeah. So, if you've got a blank sheet of paper, what can you offer? What can you teach people? Right? Write it down. I can teach people this. I can show people this. Maybe I can give people a step-by-step. Maybe I can give something of value. Maybe I can utilize a strategy or a tactic that I know to generate client opportunities or sales opportunities. Maybe I can help with a reignition campaign. Maybe I can walk through some form of thing. It doesn't have to be a physical, tangible thing. It could be something that you share in your expertise, knowledge, and know-how with that client. Write it down, right? This is the offer, right, that you want to make. Now, the question is, who's going to benefit? 2 ways to generate the who's going to benefit. Ask for referrals. Who do you know who will benefit from this? Or go direct and say, hey, would you benefit from this? Is this something, the offer, is this something of interest to you? Is this something of interest to you, right? And so that's the thing that you want to get into with asking that offer, asking that question, right? Because ultimately, if you don't put an offer out there, nobody can actually respond. The other thing is can you follow up? Can you go, hey, I put this out there, I'm not sure if it was you, I'd love to get some feedback on what you thought about the idea, because not everybody gets to see your offer that you put out there. So is there a way that you can follow up? And I generally find if you're going to do an email offer, always the second email should be, I didn't hear back from you. The second email will get more opens than the first email, right? But if you know the list, if you're familiar with the audience, you're going to get a much stronger response. If you don't know the list, it's a cold list, then the second email, when you say, hey, I didn't hear back from you, and then walk back into the idea of what your offer is, that way you're opening the door to getting some response or some sort of feedback. So it's a two-step: offer, and hey, I didn't hear back if you're going to post it, right? If you're going to actively engage somebody, what could you do? What could you give as a give that's going to be really useful and helpful to your client? So in relation to what you do, what you deliver, could you offer a mock-up? Could you do a little video for them? Could you do something that relates to something of value that's going to benefit them, right? That you can offer. That's the thing, right? I sat down and it was really weird. I'm thinking like I've done 7 days in a row. This is day 8 in a row of strategies and tactics. And there was a whole bunch of stuff in there. I thought, you know what? I could cut that up. I can take every piece. I've got all the videos. I can stick it on a landing page and say, listen, I've spent 14 hours of my life talking to a whole bunch of people around the world about the most important pragmatic thing of generating clients. Do you want it? Right? Do you want that, right? Training. And I'll guarantee you, if I put that out there as a message, there'll be a whole bunch of people say, hell yeah, send it over, John, right? So think about, maybe you've already got something that you've done. Maybe you've already created a piece of content or a video or a resource or something that you can repurpose already. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Use something you already have if you have it, right? If you don't have it, then the best thing to do is teach people what you know. If you haven't created a piece of content, right, or something that is relevant to the market, answering a problem, whatever, then the best thing you can do is to teach people what you know. That is the easiest offer you can make. Hey, Facebook ads has changed. I don't know if you noticed this, but a lot of accounts are getting shut down. A lot of compliance issues. There's all these sorts of things that are going on. I'd love to walk you through what a proper optimized campaign looks like. I'd love to share with you, and perhaps you can use the framework to optimize your own campaign. Would you like me to walk you through how that can be useful or helpful to your business to make sure that you're actually getting better results, scaling your ad campaigns, minimizing the wastage of your ad spend, getting a better client acquisition, all the benefits of doing an optimized Facebook ad campaign? What a great offer to somebody who wants to acquire customers. Right? Walk through the framework of what they need to do. And there are 5 steps to optimize a Facebook ad campaign. Now, you're not going to go through in detail exactly every single step, but you're going to go, hey, well, number 1, what's your strategy, right? What's the offer we've got to create? I'm going to create an offer that's relevant to the market. Once we've got the strategy, then we're going to say, hey, so what's the process? What do we want them to do? What's the call to action? Right? We want them to pick up the phone. We want them to go and visit a web page. We want them to download a lead magnet. We want them to go buy now, direct buy now. What is the call to action that we want to have as part of our process, right? And then then we're going to framework our landing page, right? How we engage. Then what happens after they do said thing, right? Do we provide them with some indoctrination, some frequently asked questions? Do we attach some automation to maximize the ability to manage that lead? And so thereby you're actually showing or demonstrating the path to maximizing conversions and getting better results with Facebook advertising. You might even stop at the, hey, let's just look at the 4 components of a successful ad, right? Rather than going through the whole process. Hey, most people get the whole advertising thing wrong, right? Number 1, strategy. Number 2, the copy. Number 3, the creative. Number 4, the optimization, right? The A/B split testing, the adjustments, right? Then number 5, the allocation of a budget to start the test, to improve, to pick the campaign that works the best so that actually generates the outcome. You might just stop right there, right? And teach people to do that. AdWords, same thing. What's the strategy? What's the offer? What are the keywords? What are the negative keywords we want to eliminate? What are campaigns that are already working? Why do those campaigns work? What are the plugins that they're using? How do we optimize for the analytics? How do we make sure that we record calls? What's the basis or the structure of running a successful Google Ads campaign? YouTube advertising, Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, LinkedIn advertising. Hey, can I just walk you through the framework that works, right? I'm talking to people, I'm trying to help people get better results. And the best way that I can do that is teach you exactly what needs to happen. Now, at the end of that conversation, this is what's going to happen. So what did you like about what I've shared? Does that make a difference to the way that you approach this, right? Do you want to do this yourself? Or the cool question is, you know what? Would you like us to set one up for you and let's run it? Would you like to use our team to do that? you've got a 50-50 chance of getting a sale by using this really simple offer structure, right? So teaching people what you know from a value or a benefit perspective, right? From that perspective, is going to help you get a much better result, right? That's going to help you get a much better engagement, much better result. And by the way, you can actually create a lead magnet out of that. You can create a step like a one-pager, right? PDF, 5 steps, right? You can, on the bottom of that is you, right? If you want us to help you to craft and design, talk to our team. We'll show you exactly how this works. There's a lead magnet for you, right? 1 page, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, call to action. You know, you can do this yourself, but there are a few pieces in here that you need to massage to make sure that you're optimizing. More than happy to sit down and walk you through exactly what that looks like for your business so that you're actually getting a much better return. And I would imagine if you're going to spend advertising dollars, that you want a better return, a better rate of return, better results, and more importantly, stop the wastage and not have an unoptimized campaign that may get you into some trouble. So, hey, what if we minimize the risk and increase the gains? Right? Are you interested? I've just literally in that 3 minutes scripted your entire pitch to the market. There's another script, right? I think I'm number 9. I'm at number 9 strategy right now, right? In the first 27 minutes, you have 9 ways, right, to actively engage a prospective customer in the marketplace. So these are the things that I guess I take into consideration when I'm looking at you know, making an offer, right? Today, I'm making 4 offers today. That's 5, that's a 4. There's 4 offers today. These are 4 high ticket, high value offers, where the people are investing tens of thousands of dollars. But I'm going to make them today. I'm going to make them very relevant to them. I'm going to give them the reasons why it's important for them to do this. I'm going to say, hey, this is where we can help. I'm going to provide a relevant connection point for them to be able to take the next step. All of these things that I've just shared with you are things that I do all the time. And I know out of the 4 people, I'm pretty confident that 2 of them are going to say, yeah, let's do this, without even having a conversation. You're going to click on a pay the link, pay the deposit to get started, right? So without even, but that's because I know who they are. I understand the information I'm about to provide is very relevant to them. I know the timing is right? So think about all these things that I'm just sharing. The timing's right, the information's right, they're primed, they're qualified to do this thing that I'm asking them to do. They're ready to go, right? This is something that they've, not that it's a new idea, it's something that they've considered in the past, right, but haven't taken action on. Right. And I know that if I'm answering all these questions by making this direct offer, of the 4 people, I know 2 of them will probably say yes without even having a conversation with me. And maybe 1 or 2 of them are going to want to have a conversation for clarify. And that's what I'm open to, right? I've got 2 options. 1, you can just get it started, call to action, let's go, right? The second option is let's get on a call, right? Let me answer the questions that you've got. So I'm giving them, and that's something that most people don't do enough of in their offers, is actually being very succinct about the next step, right? The next step. Now, the next step might be click on this, do this, right? Simple, right? Go and grab this, right? Check this little question. So one of the key tricks, I shouldn't use the word tricks, it's not tricks. This is a strategy, right? One of the key strategies I use, I don't know, a lot of people use Calendly. You can use this for schedule ones. I don't know what time scheduling software you can use, but the cool thing about time scheduling software, it actually creates, you can create a little bit of a question and answer before they book a time, right? You can actually go through a process of answering questions, right? So I've said to people in the call to action, say, listen, I know this is a scheduler, just pick the thing, but I'd love you to answer the questions, right? I'd love you to answer these questions. I've put some really key questions behind the time link, right? And those questions are going to make you think about something that's very relevant to you and be very useful to you. Those 5 questions are the same sorts of questions you should be asking your clients. Now, if you want to, go ahead and do that. And what it does is it actually invites them to book an appointment in my calendar, right? Or another way to do this is, hey, I've got this thing, right, that I'm sharing. I want to teach you how to do Facebook advertising. I want to teach you how to do run a successful Google Ads campaign. Jump over here on the link. Behind that wall or behind that link, I've got some questions that are going to give you the help that you need. And then if you want to, you can book some time with me if you want to. But I got some of those questions to help you to get the result or the idea. And then what you do is when they hit submit, you give them the lead magnet or the thing that you're directing them to. When they hit submit, once it's submitted for the appointment, you give them access, or you give them the thing. They don't have to fill in an opt-in form or anything like that. All they're doing is booking time. So, hey, use this link, right? Answer these questions. When you hit submit, so you're giving them instructions. When you hit submit, right, that's going to give you the actual information that you're looking for. So I've tested this strategy and it works. Now, the goal then is to make sure they show up for the appointment. So you've got to have that thank you. They go to the thank you page. They go to the thing that they're going to download or they access. Just have a video at the top saying, hey, I really appreciate, thank you very much for submitting. By the way, you have booked a time in my calendar. I don't know if you're really committed to that time. I just want to make sure you're very clear about why you're booking a time. Yes, all the information that I said that I was promising to give you is right below this video. You have direct access and information. But the reason I'm wanting to talk to you is to be very relevant to see how this can apply to you. So if you want to spend 10 to 15 minutes looking at a pragmatic, focused approach towards generating said outcome or result, please keep that time on the calendar. Otherwise, you can cancel, right? Feel free to cancel and you've still got all the information. But I'd love to be able to connect with you personally. I'd love to be able to answer some questions and, more importantly, perhaps give you a more succinct, a more clear approach with what I've shared as part of the strategy. So think about that, right? You can actually encourage people to get access to information by clicking through your calendar appointment. That's an easy way to get an appointment. Now, the key is to make sure they keep the appointment. So you're going to have on the back end, and in fact, Calendly, Schedule Once, all these sorts of softwares actually have the ability to do automated emails. You can send out as many automated emails as you want inside the calendar thing. So all you've got to do is copy and paste your message and say, hey, by the way, just making sure that you're letting you know what's going to happen in that call, right? By the way, if you haven't had a chance to look at those things that I shared, here's that link again to make sure that this is what was there, right? So you can do that very easily to encourage you to open the door to generating appointments, right, for yourself. So those are, like, we've been going for 33 minutes, and I think I've given you about 13 different strategies that you can apply to go and generate your clients. The basics the basics that you need to be focused on, the things you want to be super, super succinct about, the problem that you solve, your offer to fix that problem, how you solve and how you fix, and what is the benefit of the outcomes of actually solving that problem, right? The who has the problem, who's got the problem right now that you can go to right now? Who do you think has the problem? Make that offer, right? How do we get that offer in front of them? I would suggest that if you're in social media, you can Facebook Messenger people, you can send out an email to people, you can do a LinkedIn message to people. There are 3 options right there. You can, if you've got their mobile, you can text message the offer. But how do you get the thing in front of them? That's the question you want to ask. How am I going to get this thing in front of them, right? And to maximize your opportunity for the ability to engage, what is going to be the second step? Is there a follow-up message? Remember, hey, didn't hear back from you. Love to get your feedback on this, right? Follow-up message. Are you going to pick up the phone and say, hey, look, I shot this through. I know you're really busy. I'm not sure if you caught it, but if you can give me 60 seconds, you can let me know whether or not we can continue the conversation, right? So you can do that as the follow-up strategy. Don't just put an offer out there, just willy-nilly hope and pray that it's going to work, right? In some cases, people will get back to you. My favorite offers are just 9-word offers. Are you interested in this thing? Are you interested? Are you interested in getting a better Facebook ad strategy working for you right now? Are you interested in redoing your current website to reflect the current circumstances of the pandemic? Are you interested in mobilizing your site? Are you interested? Are you interested? Are you interested? Right? How many follow-ups do we need to do for cold outreach? That's, how long is a piece of string, Rajesh? That's something that you have to, the more dialed in your message, the more personal you can make the message, the better the result and the better response and the faster the follow-up. There is no magic number anymore, Rajesh. That number could be 125 messages. I've had people that have had 300 messages from me, Rajesh, before they said yes to my offer, right? I don't know if you've got time to write 300 messages to send out to a human being to get an offer. I'm not sure. But to ask that question, how much, how often, Who are you targeting? How well do you know them? How well do they know you? That's going to determine how long it's going to take you to engage that customer, right? That question that you're asking that's the wrong question to be asking, right? The question you should be asking is, how do I make my thing relevant, right? Think about who you're sending this to. Think about why so like if I was looking at a strategy, why would they be desperate to open this thing up? Why would they be like I see them, I got to open this thing, I got to do it, right? That's what you have to think about, not how many messages I've got to write. Who gives a shit? Write 100. If you're writing 100 messages, I'll guarantee you're going to get responses, because eventually somebody's going to go, you know what the hell's this guy on about? I've got to take at least a look, right? But it doesn't matter how many follow up. It could be 1, it could be 20, it could be 50. It doesn't matter. Right? Your business doesn't begin and start with how many times you engage, right? You should be engaging all the time. That's the strategy, right? What we get caught up in is like how often, right? You got to do a little bit of work. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. I've literally handed 15 different strategies here on a silver platter that you can pick any one of the 15 things with the scripts, with the focus, and send it out and get a response. I've had people get responses immediately. I've had people get responses in days. I've had people get responses in months. It doesn't matter. What matters here is the pragmatic action of the doing. That's what matters here, right? Yeah. Only now I became a customer. Look at this, Faisal, 4 years ago. Faisal spoke to me 4 years ago, and he's decided to jump into Clients Unleashed 4 years later. How many trainings has Faisal watched? How many videos has he watched? How many bits and pieces that he's downloaded or jumped into me? 4 years to eventually come and say, hi, I want to get some coaching, get some training, right? The number doesn't matter. The number doesn't matter. By the way, Faisal, thank you. I really appreciate you joining Clients Unleashed. The longest I've nurtured a relationship for a purchase is 7 years. I communicated to a particular person 7 years, and how I converted them was, I don't want to communicate with you anymore, right? I'm kicking you off my list. I'm kicking you out of my groups. If you don't think that I can help you in any way, there's no point in listening to me anymore. Obviously, I'm not the right person for you. Let me go and send you to the right person. And I gave him a list of names. Don't listen to me. Don't interact with my stuff anymore. I don't need you anymore. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Obviously, I cannot help you, right? 7 years. That was the message that got him over the line. The message of, I obviously can't help you. I obviously don't know what I'm talking about, because if you haven't figured this out in 7 years, then there's something that I'm doing wrong. I'm not the person you need to be on. You need to be off my list, right? And so 7 years later, and that was just purely a tactic. I literally took it away from them. I went, no. Where it, right? And then they jumped in, and guess what? They more than tripled their business in less than 3 months, right? 7 years they waited, 7 years. And then they finally went and invested, and then 3 months later, boom, triple their business, right? Triple the amount of revenue in 3 months, right? Because at that time, they were ready. So I cannot think of how many hundreds of messages they might have seen, how many webinars they hopped on, how many events that they saw me at live at, right? Before they became a client. So to answer your question, buy or die, you die before you buy, right? How long does it take? It really doesn't matter. Now, I don't want to wait 7 years for a customer. That's insane, right? But that just goes to show that sometimes people, timing, the right message at the right time, the moment, all those sorts of things play into this, right? And right now, the time is 2021. That's the time. And my question to a lot of businesses is, what are you doing to make 2021 friggin' awesome, right? What plan have you got into place right now to make 2021 a freaking boom year for you? Do you have that plan? If you don't have that plan, if you're not expecting a boom year, I can't help you. I'm only helping people who want a boom year. Do you want a boom year? Are you planning for a boom year? Or are you just planning to get out of business? What do you want? Let's get pragmatic, right? The funny thing is, is one of the things this year, my focus in helping people to grow their agencies is really to focus on not so much the front end of their funnel, it's more to focus on the middle end. The middle end of the funnel is the branding, the information, the building that know, like, and trust, because that way you're going to get much better quality clients. It's going to be much easier to convert clients because you're building an infrastructure that supports relevancy to your market. Right? That's going to get you way more leads. That's going to get you way better prospects. That's going to give you clients who will actually spend more money with you. So one of the things that I'm working on with my champions groups is we're looking at key strategies of, getting the leads part. That's easy. In Clients Unleashed, I'm going to show you a process that opens the door to 50 opportunities every single day. From those 50 opportunities, you're going to engage in a conversation 15, 20 people a day. If you engage in a conversation with 15 to 20 people a day, you're going to get one or three appointments out of that opportunity. If you're getting 1 or 3 appointments every single day, let's say worst case scenario, 1 appointment every day, 20 appointments over the course of the month to qualify whether or not people are going to work with you, I'll guarantee you're going to generate between 3 and 5 customers every single month. The lead part is the easy part. Right? The fun part is getting it right with the right customer, the right person, right? Making sure that you're delivering the results, making sure you're improving that capability. That middle part of the funnel. There's a friend of mine, Jason Fladlin, who he generates $10 million funnels, right? And in a conversation, in a training that I was watching recently that he was delivering, right? He didn't talk about generating fresh leads. He said, that's not where the money is. He says where the real money is in the middle of the funnel, in that indoctrination, in that building the right message, in having the right branding, and giving people the reasons to take the next step forward. He said the lead generation piece is easy. There's 2 ways to get leads, organically or pay for them. That's simple, right? You either buy them or you're going to get them organically. They're the 2 ways to get leads, and whatever 200 different strategies that you can use on those 2 levels of marketing. The lead part is the easy part. The fun part is making sure you're talking to a qualified prospect who has the money, who know that you can help, who's ready to go. That's the part that we need to focus on, right? That's the critical part. That messaging, that branding, that being relevant, being timely, asking the question, right? Giving your philosophy, your ideals, so that people go, yeah, I like you. Yes, you're adding value. Yes, you're here for the long term. You're not here for the quick buck. Most people in this game are in it for the quick buck. You will fail. The quick buckers, you will fail, right? You will fail. I guarantee you fail. The people who actually really want to help people out and get results, those people are going to succeed. The people who actually want to build a business that is of value and gives people solutions that supports their aspirations, those people, you're going to fly. All the people on this call, the people watching this video, you investing 44 minutes so far of your time in what I'm doing tells me that you're interested in getting it right. Yeah, you're in the right place, right? You're in a safe house here. This is a safe space, as the therapist would say, right? But understand that that's where the opportunity is. The opportunity is being true to that adding of value. That's the opportunity, right? If you how many touches, how many phone calls? Well, I don't know, right? For example, I can give you countless examples, right? There are some times where I've instigated live events, paid tickets to live events. And in the early stages, you get 1 or 2 people, 3 people, and might go, yeah, I'll buy a ticket, right? But it doesn't happen when I'm actively promoting a live event where they're paying for a ticket. Then I'm probably actively marketing to the same audience or multiple audiences every single day. Even if you bought a ticket, I'm still marketing to you to show up, right? And so for example, to fill out a quota for an event, right? The last live event, paid live event that I did, we did 52 pieces of content and information. We did a webinar twice a week for 8 weeks. That's 16 webinars that we ran to fill that room. That was just the webinars. That didn't include all the emails. That didn't include the phone calls. That didn't include the value-added lead magnets that we used to generate people at an event. That didn't include the messenger service. That didn't include any of that. That was just 16 webinars to fill an event, right? It's, people just have no idea that people are busy, right? We're all busy, and you need to grab their attention. And the more relevant the more relevant piece of information you have, right, the easier it is for you to grab the attention, right? The more relevant you make it, the easier it is. I have people who do cold email and we get 85%, 90% open rates, right? 85 to 90% open rates on a cold first email. How on earth do you do that? Well, you dial your message in. You know who you're emailing. You learn a little bit about them. You engage them personally. You create a message. Now, you can actually do that on automation in bulk, right? The only piece that you've got to personalize is the first sentence, right? Subject line, their name. Subject line could be a series of subject lines that get the open, but you don't just want the open, you want the read. And the only way you're going to get them to read is that first paragraph. And when you look at your email, you'll see the first paragraph. When you look at your, the way most people set up the email, they generally tend to see the first sentence of the email, right? That is what's going to attract their attention. If you personalize that first sentence, you've got a better chance of them reading what you've actually got to put. And they're often spend more time on that email, right? That's how you get a 75 to 85% open rate on cold email. You really dial your message in. Richard, one of the people I work with, dialed his message into his market. He's an SEO guy. His average spend for a client is $5,000 a month, right? His open rates on email average 85% on cold email. 85% open rate on cold email. That's insane. Right now, when he first started cold email, his open rates were not 85%. It was averaging between 12% and 20%, which is still pretty low. Where the sweet spot is in terms of open rates, about 30%. If you've got a 30% open rate, that's awesome, right? That means 1/3 of the people are opening your emails. That's incredible. That's a great number to aim for, right? But it wasn't just about the open rates. It was the interactivity. So he went from 12 to 20% to 85%. And he, on average, for every 100 emails, he would get 13 to 17 appointments. For every 100 emails, he would get 13 to 17 appointments that he sent out, right? Booked his calendar out by doing that. How did he get the appointments, right? He followed up. He followed through. Anybody made a comment, he immediately followed up. Anybody that asked a question, he immediately picked up the phone and called them. Right? Anybody ever download a lead magnet that he was offering, he'd pick up the phone and call them. Why did you download my stuff? What interested you in taking my stuff? Because most people don't read or use or watch the lead magnets. They don't, right? I can tell you from first experience, the amount of people that downloaded some of my free content and have never watched it, because I can see that they've never watched it, but they downloaded it, right? So the idea was there. If I was able to get on the phone, I'd get on the phone and say, hey, why did you want that thing? What were you hoping to get out of that? Why is that missing for you right now, right? What can I help you with in that process? Is it something, maybe I can answer some questions, maybe give you some clarity? Is it worth hopping on a quick call for 10 minutes, give you some clarity, some structure, some focus? Maybe we might be able to help you to get an outstanding or a great result with what you're looking to do. Would that be useful? Yes or no, right? Bang, simple questions, right? Jasper, one of the champions that I work with, this is a classic. He used an automated funnel. By the way, the same automated funnel is actually available in Clients Unleashed at clientsunleashed.com. But he used an automated funnel, and the first time he launched his funnel, there's like an 11-minute email sequence. The very first time he launched the funnel, he had 3 people opt in straight away, like literally boom, straight away. And in the funnel, it asked for their phone number, their mobile, right? And these people, it wasn't a required field, but they feel compelled to, I'll fill in the form. So 3 people, like literally within the first hour of him launching the funnel, 3 people opt in and 3 people have to put their phone number in. Well, he picked up the phone and says, hey, how you doing? Thanks for downloading the lead magnet that I put in. I really appreciate you doing that. By the way, I just want to ask you a question. Why did you find that was something that you wanted to get your hands on, right? And he sold, right? He sold 2 of them into clients from lead magnets that they downloaded 30 minutes before, right? Because he engaged and asked him, so listen, I know there's some cool stuff on there, but there's a reason why you asked the question. So I'd love to be able to help you. I put that thing together to give you some guidance and give you some opportunity there. But, really, if you're looking for some help, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions, right? And maybe you'll get exactly what you're looking for. Maybe I'll at least provide you with something that may be useful. But if not, at least we got to know each other. Would you like to have a quick chat? They went, yeah, I'll have a quick chat. And he sold them, right? He sold 2 AdWords clients out of the first 3 people that downloaded a lead magnet by asking him, why did you download the lead magnet, right? Maybe that's something you can put in your statement and say, hey, why did you accept the offer? What was it about the offer that intrigued you? And then get them to respond that way. That's another way to engage. Right? So if we know who's got the problem, right, and we know how we get an offer in front of them, right, we then need to look at how we're going to demonstrate, right, that we can help them. That's the 5th piece in the puzzle, is how do we demonstrate how we can help them. Now, we can demonstrate by showing. We can do a little video, walk through. We can do an audio. We can transcribe something. There's a whole bunch of things you can do to demonstrate. We know this is a problem. We know this is a process. This is a proven pathway to solve that problem. When you have the proven pathway, these are the outcomes that occur. Now, my question to you is, would it be useful to you to have those outcomes? What would happen? What would be the impact if you were to have those outcomes? And is it worth looking at ways of implementing those outcomes for you? Would that be useful? I love that question. Would that be useful to you? And if it's an obvious yes, right? Well, is it okay if we talk about that? Right? With that, would it be useful for you to have a system that's generating 15 to 20 conversations every day in your agency? Would that be useful for you? There's not too many people would say no to that. Well, in Clients Unleashed, that's what's happening. That's what's going to be happening in Clients Unleashed, right? Would it be useful for you to be super clear on your offer, your message, your avatar, and the framework so that you're confident when you're having conversation? So it really makes it easy for people to see how they can benefit from working with you. Would that be useful to you, right? If the answer might be no. If it's not useful to you, then great. Then I'm not talking to you. But if it is useful to you, then yes, I'm speaking to the right person. Well, if you want to do that, jump into Clients Unleashed. That's the process we take you through to make it easy for people to choose you as a relevant provider for your service, to make it easy for them, to make it for you to be confident in your delivery, right? In what you're offering, in your understanding, so that when the client, you look the client in the eye and say, hey, the investment in what we do is this, and we recommend that you do this. And they're going to go, sure, right? Yeah, I agree, right? So the clarity piece, right? Then the sales process. Would it be useful to actually qualify people and know that they've got the money, that they're ready to go right now, that they're interested in what you have to offer, that they want to implement what you do? Would that be useful to you? Yes or no, right? And people go, yeah, that would be useful to me, right? If we could qualify, if we could totally qualify, eliminate all the objections up front, right? Go through that process, yeah, would that be helpful? I would imagine it would be, because now I'm only talking to somebody who knows what the price is. They know that they're ready to go right now. They know that this thing that you're offering is the thing that's going to help them get the result or an outcome they're looking for. And they don't really need to think about it. They just need to know how you're going to help them do it, right? That would be useful, right? Now, the next question, would it be useful to have a step-by-step sales process? Not so much that you sell the client, but you allow the customer to actually step into buying rather than you selling. Actually helping people and then going, you know what? Yes, I want to buy. Would that be useful, right? If those 3 things would be useful, the clarity, the understanding, the delivery, the framework in a way that helps the client say, that's what I'm looking for, the ability to be able to start 15 to 20 conversations of people who are interested in engaging with you and opening up that conversation, put up their hand to start that communication. If that would be useful to you, and if you had a process to qualify, and had another process to actually enable a person that sees you as the optimal opportunity to invest in your product and services, if those 3 things were in place, would that be useful, right? I would imagine there should be a hell yeah ringing out in the lives, in the interwebs, that would be useful. Well, if it is, I'd love to help you, right? If you just go to, Clients Unleashed, right? I'll just put that chat there because I know we have a few people who are interested. Right? You can go there and all of those things are available for you right now, right? All those things are literally stepping out. Because the only thing is you want a consistency of generating clients. If you want a consistent generating clients, then that's what I want to focus on. I want to help people consistently open the door to having conversations with people that they want to have conversations with, who want to have conversations with you, right? That you qualify, so that they're ready to buy now, and that you have a process that enables them to step into buying what you have to offer without having this whole convoluted, psychologically manipulated conversation, one where you're just genuinely wanting to help people. And if you're genuinely wanting to help people, there'll be people out there who'll see that and they want to buy, right? So once I have the process to demonstrate on how I can help people, right? How do we deliver on that promise, right? Well, delivering on that promise means they're working with you, right? There's a process that you take them through, and there's a framework that you know that if they follow the framework, you get results, right? So you understand that piece in the puzzle, that delivery process, right? And the last piece in the process is once you've got them paying, how do you keep them paying, right? But the ones that we need to focus on right now and what I've been talking about and the 13 different strategies and offers that I've crafted for you in this live, if you go back and listen to this live and apply or take what I've shared, what problem do you solve? What is the offer to fix that problem? Who's got that problem, right? How do we get that offer in front of them? That's all we really need to do, right? That's all we really need to focus on, right? What problem are you solving? What's the offer to fix it? Who's got it? How do we get that in front of them? If we answer those 4 questions, you can have a blank sheet of paper and literally answer that question, right? Problem, what is the problem we solve? And don't say leads. Leads is not enough, right? Because I can say, yeah, I want some leads, but then there's a certain type of lead that I want, right? There's certain things or criteria that I want to meet. So I want to be more specific. So it's not about the leads. What type of buyer, what type of customer is ready to go? If I can understand, if I can provide you with a process that's going to filter, ask the right questions, get somebody who is ready to put up their hand, maybe ask some pre-qualifiers to actually give you a better person to talk to, would that be useful to you, right? That's the problem you want to solve, right? How do you want to fix it? Let me teach you how it works. Let me show you the proven path to get the result. That's your offer. Let me show you a proven path to get the result. Would that be useful to your business right now? Would it be useful that you have a plan right now to get a consistent, predictable outcome, one that's going to add an asset to your business, build value, gradually see an incremental growth rather than a gradual decline, right? Do you want to minimize the stops and starts, or do you want to see a gradual drifting or a gradual decisive move to build your client? You've got one of 3 choices in the market right now. You've got the choice to go up, you've got the choice to stay where you are, and you've got the choice to go down. If you're staying where you are, the market and the competition will eat you alive. So as a stay you are, that means you're actually going to go down. If you're already going down, you need to change things, right? You need to pivot and adjust things right now, immediately. So I want to focus on the decision of this upward curve. So where are you at right now? You can ask people, where are you at? Are you on the upward curve? You want to go up? Are you trying to hang in there, right? Knowing that you're going to go backwards if that's the only focus is to survive? Or are you drifting down, right? My question to you is, how badly do you want to be on that upward curve? There's a simple offer, a simple strategy, a simple focus. My friend of mine, Simon Bowen, beautifully coins that idea. Are you decisive? The people who make decisions, the people who are constantly being decisive are the ones that are gradually moving up. The people who aren't making decisions but are trying to hang in there tend to bounce around on that middle line of hanging in there. It's going to take them 2 to 3 years to get back to where they were at the beginning of the pandemic, right? And then there's a bunch of people who are panicked, who are driven by the bright and shiny object, who are trying but really aren't thinking about their strategy, aren't thinking about their market, or they're just not actively doing the things they need to do to be in a growth curve situation. Yes, the restaurant industry and the travel industry and the hotel industry and the event industry is gone out the window. But the funny thing is that I know that there are restaurants that are doing really well right now in the middle of the pandemic, even though they've had closures and social distancing and all that sort of stuff. But I know restaurants that have pivoted in this time and been able to stay open, stay in business. And now when their doors have opened, when the social distancing is relaxed, they've seen a massive growth curve and the businesses around them are quiet. I'm experiencing this in my world. Last night, it was Sunday night, and I'm thinking, what are we going to do for dinner? I feel like having some, seafood for dinner, right? So I look at other seafood restaurants. closed, or they were open, but they didn't look very busy. There's one place that I drove past and then there were people lined up out the door, right? Lined up the door. This is at 7 o'clock at night, right? They weren't serving for dine-in. It was purely social distance takeaway, right? Pick up and take away, right? Now, I've ordered delivery, yes, but I didn't know. I thought, you know, I like to see the menu. I like to kind of see what's going on. I like to see the food coming out a little bit. I just thought, hey, I've got time. I'll stuck in the car, drive down and pick it up, right? They were busy. Restaurant next door, really busy. This restaurant next door to that, doing okay. Restaurant 3 or 4 doors up. Oh, sorry, 4 or 4 doors up from there, not so busy, right? It was very dark in the restaurant. They were open, but they had no customers. And I was wondering why these guys here serving food, customers lined up, waiting, social distancing, waiting for food. This guy, nobody, right? No food, nobody ordering. I almost wanted to go over and say, hey, what's happening, dude? Look at these guys, and you're empty, right? What do you know? What offer you got out there? Have you let people know that you're open? Like, I'm wondering, why are you empty and all these businesses here are full, right? Why are you empty? I'll guarantee you the reason why they're empty is they don't engage, they don't communicate to their customers. They haven't let their customers know that they're open for business in this period of time. You know, there's probably a whole bunch of reasons why they weren't very busy, right? They weren't very actively engaging. Now, I look at the other businesses, and it's really weird. I hopped on the Facebook page of the restaurant, the seafood restaurant that I went to, and they're posting every day, and they're taking photos of their food, and they're giving away giveaways, and they're really actively engaged in their social media, right? I also checked the Facebook groups of the 2 other restaurants, very actively engaged, very busy, letting people know. Well, lo and behold, look at that. Go to the Facebook page of the 4th restaurant, nobody, no offers, no engagement. Nothing, not even like, you know, positive comments or anything, right? That speaks to the psychology of the people that are running that business, right? That's why they were quiet. But everybody else, super busy. And apparently we are actually in, again, a semi-lockdown social distancing mindset because, you know, nobody's cured this pandemic, right? Even though there's vaccinations being talked about and being released and all this sort of stuff. But, you know, we still have to be mindful. We still have to keep our distance, wash our hands, keep ourselves clean, keep ourselves safe, minimize contact, right? All that sort of stuff. But yet there are people in a marketplace that is supposed to be going down that are doing really well, right? And it's really weird. And I don't know why. I'm just paying attention, just noticing who's busy, who's not busy out there. In the restaurant game, an industry that's been decimated, there's people still doing business in restaurants. There are still people marketing. There's still people spending money. In fact, some of the people that I work with in Clients Unleashed, one of those persons is not here, who's in the restaurant game, have generated 2 clients literally in between Christmas and New Year in the restaurant business. Right? I know, Johnny, you opened the door to 2 or 3 clients in this so-called quiet period in this market. So this just goes to show that people are actively investing in marketing. My question is how do you help them? How do you help them, right? And so going back, what's the problem? What are maybe 2 or 3 problems you can solve? What is the offer to fix that problem? What is the offer to add some value, to show something that will be of benefit? Think about the person you're sending this message to, how they're receiving this message, how they're reading this message. If you are that person receiving this message, is this something that is supportive of perhaps what they're thinking, right? When I try and craft campaigns, the mistake that I make is writing a campaign thinking what I think the market wants. I oftentimes fail in writing the right campaign when I think about, well, what does the market want, right? It's really weird. I even I've been in the marketing game for a very, very long time, and even testing messages. There's a strategy that there was a training that I gave, and I gave this training for 4 years. I literally delivered this presentation over 1,000 times, and I got bored. Over a 4 or 5 year period. I literally delivered this presentation, same presentation, over and over again. I could literally dial it in. I could do the presentation in my sleep. The punchlines, the jokes, everything was all timed. I didn't even need to think about it. You could just literally wheel me out onto a Zoom, onto a stage, press go, and I would just go boom and deliver this. And I got bored of this topic. And you know what? Maybe we need to change this presentation up, shake this up a little bit. So I did what any marketer would do, is do a survey, right? I don't want to go and make the changes and then make a mistake. I want to actually find out what's going on. So I did a little bit of a survey. Now, the topic of this particular presentation I did over 1,000 times was called How to Double Your Net Profit. How to double your net profit. And then the niche, or whatever industry would be, whatever business it would be. How to double net profit in the chiropractic business, how to double net profit in the, whatever it is. So how to double net profit was a standard presentation. Did it for years, right? And then I thought, you know what? I'm not, and not that I was sitting thinking, hey, John, this is boring. You've just been doing, maybe it's a bit flat, maybe it's sort of losing its efficacy. It's time to change. So I thought it was time to change. So I thought, hey, I'm going to come up with a new topic, maybe add some new components and see what people think. And so what I did was I buried the current topic about 7 down in a sea of 12 suggestions. So I buried it down. Normally people respond to the first, I'll pick one of the first 4 things. That's what people do. When you do surveys on Facebook and stuff like that, if you really want a suggestion or a selection, whatever area that you think the focus in, it's going to be in the top 4 because people are lazy. They never click down and watch the rest of the list. It's always the top 4 that get the most votes, right? So I thought I'd bury this thing down and I sent an email out saying, hey, here it is. Can you just tell me which number you want, right? And I'm thinking like the top 3 or top 4 were really good topic, subject line, headline. I really was excited about creating a training that revolves around that topic. Nothing, right? The number 1 topic that kept on coming back was this freaking how to double net profit. So I was about to change the most successful strategy that I've ever used to generate literally millions and millions of dollars with the clients. I was about to change that because I got bored with it, not the market. The market didn't get bored with it. I got bored with it. Thank God I'm a marketer and know that I need to test before I change anything, right? That's already working. What I should have done, in my head was, that's the control. Separate, offer something new, think about and try to work out what the additional is and work towards that. But keep this thing going, right? So we kept the thing going, worked really well. Same thing with messaging out to the market, right? Fine-tuning your message, right? What do you want? What do you want? Best way to find out what the market wants is talk to them. Have a chat. Say, hey, let's put the whole sales spiel behind. I'm just talking to people just like you who are awesome at what you do. I'd love to hear your opinion, what you think is important when it comes to this. I'd love to hear your opinion about what you believe the trend should be. I'd love to hear your opinion about how people are behaving in relation to what you have to offer. I'd love to hear your opinion about where you think the bottlenecks are, where you're stuck. If I have half a dozen conversations like that, that's all I need in any market, I will dial in the message, right? Because you're going to get the voice of your customer. You're going to get the vernacular of what they're saying, what they're communicating, what they're telling you in this process, right? When you've got the voice of your customer, then you can actually zero into a better message. And I don't know why people are afraid to do that, but just reach out. Like my favorite one is, who do I know? Like, I'm in enough Facebook groups. You're in enough Facebook groups here. If you're watching the live on Facebook here or replay, you're in enough groups on Facebook where you can just say, hey, does anybody know anybody that runs this type of business? I just want to understand something from their perspective or their opinion. I'll be very respectful. Is it possible for you to give an introduction, right? Now, if I want to talk to the market, that's how I literally started an agency. The first thing I did was I went into groups and things like that. I found influencers. Can anybody introduce me to this influencer? Does anybody know this person, right? I'd love to ask them a particular question, but can anybody intro me? And that's how I got my introduction to influencers in a particular niche. Somebody else introed me. And then when I introed, hey, Tony said, highly recommended that we get to speak together. I just wanted to be very brief and very specific, very respectful of your time. Is it okay if we can have a quick chat? Here's a link on my calendar, a couple of times you can choose from. Let's have a chat. And that's how I got on a conversation with 3 top influencers in the particular niche. Now, those 3 top influencers went on to refer 20 referrals to me collectively. Right? They went on to refer people that I should speak to based on the conversation and the questions that I was asking them. They said, listen, I'm at the coalface and I work with people, but really you need to go and speak to Peter. You need to go and speak to Susan. You need to go and speak to Mary, right? And then they'll say, hey, I was just speaking to Hal, and Hal said that I really should be connecting with you, Susan. I just want to introduce myself very quickly. I'd love to be able to just ask you a couple of questions. Is it okay if I do? Oh, Hal's awesome, right? Love Hal. Yes, let's talk, right? It was so easy to just get a conversation with referred people because the influencer has a relationship, right? And so, oh yeah, absolutely, no problem. Love Hal. Hal's awesome, right? Hal, that's H-A-L, not Hal, right? H-E-L-L, right? So he's awesome, and that's how I got 20 referrals from 3 influencers. Of the 20 referrals, we picked up 3 clients. 3 clients, 2 clients at 125,000 and 1 client at 250,000, right? So that's $500,000 worth of revenue from 3 conversations, right? Just because the influencer reached out through somebody else to say, does anybody know? One of the fastest and easiest ways to get to know people is somebody already knows who runs that business. Speak to your community and say, hey, look, I've just got a quick question. If anybody can help me out. And you'll be amazed at how many people say, yeah, just DM me, right? Just DM me, I'll help you out, right? People want to help. Right, so this isn't easy if you've got the right community, or if you're in communities where there is a influencer in the market, you can ask the question, hey, does anybody know? Look for the influencer and ask, does anybody know this person personally? Does anybody has had any interaction with this person? Can anybody just do me a quick intro? I've just got a quick question. I will value and respect the connection, right? That's all you got to ask. And now you're talking to an influencer, somebody who knows all the answers, knows the market, talks to your audience. And then from there, you can say, you know, this is really cool. I'm getting your perspective. If you were to speak to anybody, or if you were to suggest that I talk to anybody, who might that be that perhaps will give me another perspective? And is it okay if I can reach out to them and use your name, right? I'll be very respectful in that exchange. Yeah, sure, no problem. You need to go and talk to Tony. You need to talk to Susan. You need to talk to Mary. They'll give it to you, right? What better referral than somebody who has the respect of the person they're referring? What an easy way to pick up clients, right? So the number one thing that I believe that people should be doing is talk to your client, talk to your marketplace, ask some questions, do your searching on the interwebs to find out what some of those challenging problems are. Most people just don't take the time, right? One of the things that I looked at in the market that I was looking at, I was in the health SaaS market. I was not just looking at what was going on in health. I was looking at what some of the impacts or what some of the key areas that actual SaaS companies have to focus on, right? The metrics, right? What are some of the acronyms, the metrics that they use? And so, I know things like MRR, but they were talking things like MRRQ and MRRA and MRRY, and they had different indicators. As soon as I started using that language, all of a sudden there was this, oh, you get what we do, right? There was this understanding of that connection immediately. I often see there's a couple of things that occur, and this is, this is when people are trying to get to know the market, is we just don't ask enough questions. Oftentimes when I've worked with people and we're talking about strategy, or they're talking about converting a particular client, or they've had some question, they've had some an interaction with the client and they want to do a pitch, right? And I'll have this conversation with them. So I'll start asking questions. Okay, great. To be able to help this person, I just need to know some of the things that you've picked up from the conversation. So when it comes to what's the client's buyer's journey? Oh, I didn't ask that. Okay. What's the average sale? Oh, I didn't ask that. What's their sales cycle? Oh, I didn't ask that, right? All important things that are relevant to understanding things about that business so that you can help them or impact them on their marketing. So you can ask more deeper questions to get feedback. And and here's a cool trick, and this will be the last tactic that I'll share with you. Oftentimes, I let people know who I've been talking to. Hey, I just spoke to Bob at ABC HVAC. He's the founder and CEO. They've been going about 14 years and they're having a pretty good year, but they're looking to grow. But one of the things I talked about was this concept. I'm wondering if you're experiencing the same thing. And this person, oh, you spoke to Bob. Oh, I've heard of Bob, right? Most people know who the players are in the market. So what I try to do is I try to talk to the players, and then I'll let everybody know that I've talked to the players. Hey, I talked to Bob, I talked to Mary, I talked to Susan, I talked to Stephen, I talked to Faisal, I talked to Axel, Muhammad, whoever I spoke to, right? And list the names. So there's a familiarity. Oh, That's the CEO of that company. CEO, oh, this guy only talks to CEOs of companies that are doing well in the market. Maybe I need to talk to you, right? So that's a really cool tactic. Oftentimes, I let people know who I've had a discussion with, or if I've had a discussion with somebody and a particular thing came up, I'll use that thing. Say, look, I was talking to ABC, Bob over at ABC, and he mentioned this thing. I thought it was really interesting because it was something that would be actually useful or make an impact. I'm wondering if you're experiencing the same thing, right? And they go, oh, wow, that's interesting, right? So what that does is that it creates a sense of familiarity, right? And people lean into people that are interested. So when you take an interest in others, they'll take an interest in you. One of my favorite sayings, a friend of mine who ran an incredible company, literally printing money on fresh air, a guy called Alan McGurven. He was a media guy. He's been in the news, radio, and TV and all that sort of stuff for years. And I remember him saying this, and I never forgot. And it's something that he used to repeat, right? But it always stuck with me, right? And he says, John, to have a friend, you have to be a friend first. To have a friend, you have to be a friend first, right? And so, and what he meant was, how do you add value? Right? How do you become useful? How do you become supportive? How do you become encouraging? Are you a person that adds value to other people's lives, right? And how do you do that? How do you be the friend first so that they can become a friend, right, in what you do? So to me, that is probably one of the most, the things that I have often, and by the way, somebody else that talks about this is a guy called Jay Abraham. Now, there's a fantastic book, and I recommend everybody reads this book. It's called How to Get Everything You Want Out of Everything You've Got, written by Jay Abraham. You can look at it. I think you can download a Kindle version. If you go to abraham.com, you can actually get a free copy of it. I think there's a PDF copy of that book. But there's a chapter, it's the 4th chapter, and it's called Preeminence. The strategy of preeminence. What the strategy of preeminence is being of the highest service, being of the highest value, right? So what that means is, how do you really help people without thinking that you're going to gain something from that help, right? So oftentimes I've been in situations where I've been in a sales process and I feel like that they're not ready, or I'm not the right person. I know somebody else will. And I've literally gone, you know what? I know somebody you really need to talk to. Now, if you're serious about this, I'll connect you with this person. And I refer them, I'll actually not generate the sale and direct them to the other person. And then they'll go and work with it. I'll go to the other person, listen, I spoke to them, they're really good, but I know that they're more ready for you than they are for me. So can you help them out? They go, yeah, that's great, awesome. Thank you very much, that's awesome. So I've literally referred the person to a competitor on purpose, not because I didn't like them, because I just thought that they're going to get a result. That's the idea of preeminence. By the way, in that referral, 2 things happen. I got referrals from the person that I referred on, and I got referrals from the person that I referred to, right? Now, I wasn't expecting that to happen. I didn't care. My ultimate goal was to make sure that the person I was speaking to was getting the help that they needed. That was my goal. So the strategy of preeminence is, how can you be the person of the highest level of service to the people that you talk to, right? How can you help people? If you go with that philosophy, you'll have a license to print money. You'll have people buying, investing, hiring you, referring you, because that's the philosophy you take. It's not one of what I can get out of you. It's what I can help you with or deliver to you, right? If you go with that philosophy, so that book, How to Get Everything You Want, Everything You've Got, go to abraham.com. Abraham, the master, one of the masters of the universe of business optimization development. There's a ton of resources on there, right? Amazing mentor. I've invested lots of money in his coaching and trainings and programs over a number of years. In fact, he helped me establish, really scale one of my businesses about 30 years ago, right? Incredible man. And I had the good fortune of having dinner with him last year, and I spent 3 hours. My mind was blown with stuff that I'd never even heard before. And I know this man's material. Right, so it shows that, and again, preeminence. Right, he literally handed some of the most amazing strategies to me that were incredible on a silver platter. You know, but normally he would charge his clients hundreds of thousands of dollars for these ideas. Right, but he just gave them away. Right now, if I want to enact the idea, I'd probably go, "Hey Jay, I need your help. Let's put some money in your pocket. We've got to do this. Let's get it done." Right, but he is incredible. Proponent of philosophy of preeminence, right? How are you of the highest service, right? And that philosophy of to have a friend, got to be a friend first. Be the friend, right? Don't always ask. Be the giver, right? A great book to read, I think it's called The Go-Giver, right? Go and read that book. It's a great book. I think I mentioned 3 books here, 4 books actually. Hal Elrod, The Miracle Mile, right? Miracle Morning, sorry. Hal Elrod and Cameron Harold, highly recommend that book, The Miracle Morning. It's about routine. Imagine building the routine to client acquisition. So for those, you've probably been hearing me talk about Clients Unleashed. We've got a whole bunch of people who've jumped into Clients Unleashed. I want to thank you for doing that. John, Johnny, Faisal, Grant, Chris. We've got a few people here on the Facebook groups that have jumped in. I want to welcome you and thank you. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff because we have a session tomorrow to map out and unpack strategy for you so we can get rocking and rolling. And this week I'm going to be rolling out that idea of consistently generating clients. There's some new trainings and units that are going in there. But thank you for those people who are going to join. If you want to know more, if you go to clientsunleashed.com, you'll be able to see everything there that you need to know about that training. And that whole training is designed to get you super confident, clear in your offer and delivery, to have the ability to engage with at least 50 new opportunities every day, 700 opportunities over the next 2 weeks. Of that, you're probably going to have about 150 or so conversation starters, people putting up their hand that you want to engage. Chris, no. This is something that is very succinct to what I'm doing with Clients Unleashed. There are resources and tools that people have available in Agency Unleashed that are available in Clients Unleashed, but the actual trainings, the units, and stuff like that in the Facebook group, very different. What I've done is really broke it down into succinct. Here's what you do. Here's the framework. Apply. Move. So it's really pragmatic, step by step. I know Johnny's been posting and doing. I've known Titus has just done it recently. There's a few people going through the process of actually applying and getting into the nuts and bolts of that sort of stuff. So you know, to answer your questions, there are at some levels, but other levels, no. And the lead gen stuff, no. That's not in Agency Unleashed. It's only in Clients Unleashed. So if you're in Clients Unleashed, you're going to get the whole automation of software. 2 weeks trial I've arranged for you to receive of the software, which means you can generate 700 opportunities in 2 weeks. Out of 700 opportunities, I guarantee you're probably going to have between 100 to the least that you're going to do. And I've been testing this in, by the way, this software in a couple of different niches that I'm not involved in, just to see how it works. And I went into the plumbing niche, and I was getting about between 12 and 20 people a day that put up their hand and said, yeah, let's start the conversation. So I know that it works in niches. I've been testing in my niches and it works there. So yeah, if you want 700 free opportunities for the first 2 weeks, then I know out of 150 people in engagement, you're going to generate between, the worst case scenario, you're going to get a client, but I know that you probably get 3 to 5 clients out of that process. And the purpose of Clients Unleashed is to get yourself into a situation so you're able to get 3 to 5 clients every single month, right? I'd like, you know, that's the ideal scenario, and that will be a game changer for those people who apply and follow through and learn and get the feedback and improve their outcomes. So if you go to clientsunleashed.com, you will see all of that there. So Chris, thank you for asking those questions. By the way, is that Chris Smith? Is that Chris Smith, or is that Chris somebody else? Can you just say yes, Chris, if you're Chris Smith? If you're not, no, sorry. Okay, Chris. So I thought you were another Chris. But yeah, so yes, Clients Unleashed does have a lot of differentiating components to it than what we did in Agency Unleashed. So questions. I'm happy to answer questions. So Chris says, can you clarify the difference between? I've clarified the difference. You know, we're only focused on the acquisition of a customer. That's it. Those 3 areas that most people falter, that fear of not being super clear, the delivery piece, having the frameworks. I show you the step-by-step process to be super clear. The second piece is leads, right? There is a software that I've been testing you that's awesome. You got a trial of it for 2 weeks for free. I think it's $97 a month is the cheapest version of that after that 2-week trial. But in that 2 weeks, you should be able to be engaging in direct conversation, like getting people to put up their hand. I'm going to talk about creating some really compelling pieces that you can, there's a cadence that I'd like to share with you as part of that process that I haven't done in any other training. So this is new. The idea is to build that, talking about that branding, that messaging, getting people to respond, engage, being relevant. We're going to do that piece in that process. So that's all about that. And the third piece is really qualifying the person. So you're only talking to someone who's got the money, who's ready to go right now, who doesn't really need to think about anything, but they know what they want, which is you, that we eliminate the objection of a partner. We eliminate the objection of we get the know, like, and trust happening. We have a process that we take people through to be relevant in the outcome. So I actually have scripts and a structure that is all in there. No, Chris, there's no launch in February. In fact, I believe in February we're going to more than double the prices of this program. So no, I'm not going to do this as a launching strategy. I'm actually going to be building this as just an entry point signature program, but the price is going to more than double in February. So if we're going to wait till February, I probably wouldn't, because between now and February, you'll be getting 3 clients. 3 clients, and your average sale is probably going to be way worth more than waiting till February to you. So, that's what we're doing. Is then the sales process is I literally now 2 days a week I'm live coaching you 2 days. What we do in the coaching sessions is we get into the nitty gritty of you. So we're going to sit and say, great, let's get some feedback on your offer. Let's craft the offer. Let's go and put the offer out there. And then let's see what happens. Now, we might get crickets or we might get a response. If we get a response, okay, what happened? So the idea is to incrementally improve your capability and your process. What time? 24/7 right now, Chris. 24/7 right now. We start the actual sessions at 1 p.m. PST on a Monday and on a Thursday. Those 2 days, twice in the week, live with me. I break down strategy. I answer your questions. I give you structure. We record that, even if it's scripting, offers, all that sort of stuff, and we place that into the Facebook group so you can actually get access to that. It's like if you're watching the replays of this and go and grab all these strategies and apply them. Let me tell you, this is probably the best investment you're ever going to make in any type of training. And I'm speaking because I know what's possible when people apply the stuff that I teach. So if you're thinking about it, Chris, you're thinking too hard and you're thinking too long. The investment in this, if you jump onto the page, is negligible. Your first client is probably going to give you a 10x return if you're generating clients. So you don't need to think about it. I made this so simple and so easy for people to do this that it's a no-brainer. If it's not a no-brainer, then you're in the wrong place, mate. You need to go somewhere else. I'm the wrong person. I can't help you, right? But if it is a no-brainer, then you should just kind of jump in because everything you need is there. And my support, me, Access personally, 2 days a week, I'm there. I'll be answering your questions directly, working with process, strategy, structure. We want you to launch, right? We want you to put that information out there. We want to get you the feedback. We want to see in real time. The idea is to get results, right? There are only 3 things that I'm looking for. You to get appointments and you to close deals, right? That's the 3 things. Get appointments, close deals. That's what we want to do, right? So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer questions about strategy. If you want me to give you a strategy question, Faisal, Grant, Chris, Johnny, Don, Rajesh, I got a whole bunch of people. For some reason, I still haven't worked out the comments thing with my live stream. I will need to go into the support and figure out what's going on. But if you have a question on Facebook, give a try. Oftentimes I found people commenting after the live are on. So if you are watching this as a replay, please, if you've got a question, ask questions. If you want to go and find out what I'm doing, you can go to clientsunleashed.com. You can find out there. You want to get started, just jump on. But if you want to ask this question, I'm happy to ask strategic questions things that will help you right now. If you want to climb the next 3 days and you want to unmute, if you're here on the Zooms live with me, I'm happy to unmute. But at the end of the day, I want to rock and roll, right? I want to help you. So I'm here. If you have a direct question for me, ask me the question. I'll answer the question for you, and then you can go out and apply it.
Hey, John.
Hey, Faisal, how you doing? Let me just get the volume up here so I can hear you. How you going?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, I have a question. Let's say, for example, if we have several solutions, let's say, for example, I do email campaigns. So under email campaigns, we have reactivations, we have lead gen, we have nurturing. So how do you create an offer that's very clear, but at the same time, you want to explain that do you explain that you want to do lots of things in the offer, or how do you go about that?
So what I would do, Faisal, is do one offer. Pick one thing. Don't put all things in your offer, just pick one thing. And if you looked at all those things as a list, and we can do this exercise right now, Faisal, and I'll craft an offer for you right now. If you've got a list, a familiar or a curated list you've got, let's go and send this offer out. Can we do this live? Are we cool?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So if we were to pick all the services you offer, what will get the fastest results? What of the 4 things that you just said that you do, what offer will get the fastest results?
I would say just to do a simple sales, like a reactivation or just an offer, sale offer, a promotional offer.
Sales offer. Okay, great. So do you have a market that you're targeting, or do you have a familiar list?
Let's say e-commerce.
Okay, so all right, that's awesome. So if you've got a list, you know, some e-commerce. So listen. So here's your offer, right? Hey, I want to map out and craft a campaign that runs an offer in the next week out to the market so you can capitalize on sales. Can we talk about that campaign? I want to help you craft a campaign, right? I want to map out a campaign for you. I want to see if we can launch the campaign in the next 2 weeks and then go and get sales immediately from that campaign. Are you interested? Just yes or no. There's your offer, right? So all you want to do is I want to run a successful campaign offer to generate sales now. I'm more than happy to give the map and the process. If you're interested, just let me know. Then you're going to, if somebody says yes, right, you're going to go, great. Well, let's understand your product. Let's understand your service. This is what my recommendation would be. Now, if you want me to craft the campaign for you, then it's okay if we work together, and maybe I'll tell you what I do. We can work 1 or 2 ways. I can do a deal for you right now, or let's run the campaign and I will generate a fee, a rev share on the results. Which would you prefer, right? So you're still going to pay some money to set it up. You still have to pay some money. But if you don't, our normal fee to do this is X amount of dollars. If you don't want to do that, I'll have the fee and we'll do a profit share, a rev share, right? But you must be ready to launch the campaign now. You must have a list of at least 1,000 people, right? You must be able to launch we've got to come up with a really compelling offer, right? We're going to map out the campaign for you and we're going to run, right? Are you interested in running a campaign to generate sales now? Right? So that's your offer. Okay?
Yeah, awesome.
So you can go onto the live on the Facebook group, on the Consulting Unleashed Facebook group, watch this video that I've just done. And I've literally at the 1 hour and 30-minute mark, we've picked one service, one offer. Now, once people get to know you, Faisal, once people get to say, you can say, look, yes, we do this, but here are the other things that we do as well. You can share that not only can we help you here, but what we do is we like to work with our clients with multiple different campaigns. Is it okay if I walk you through how we help our clients do these other things? Then you can educate people about the other things. But if you're going to make an offer, always lead in with one thing. Don't lead in with, so for those who are listening, those who are watching the video on the lives, don't ever run an offer that offers multiple things, because then it's a paradox of choice, right? You're making it too hard to make a decision. You want to go in and just focus on one thing, one result, right? And focus on right, how you help the result. Focus on the result, not what this thing is, right? Right. So, hey, fastest way I know to have bang for buck is to actually run an optimized campaign. I want to help. If you're interested, I'd love to map out an optimized campaign for free. I'll map the campaign. You're not going to write the campaign for free. You're going to map the campaign out, right? We're going to say, right, We're going to put an offer together. The second email that goes out is going to be letting people know. The third email, we're going to answer some questions, add some value. The fourth email is we're going to make an offer to buy. The fifth email, we're going to add a little bit more value. The sixth email, we're going to add a little bit more value. The seventh email, we're going to ask them to buy. So you map out the process, right? Now, would you like us to craft the pieces in between? Let's work together. For us to do that, you can do that by yourself. Or would you like our team to do it? Oh, I'd like to do it. Great. Well, we'll work with your team, right? I'd like your team to do it. Great. I'll tell you what, because you're ready to go, I'll do a deal. We normally charge this, or we normally charge a setup fee. I'm not going to charge a setup fee. But to manage this campaign, you're going to pay $6,000 or $5,000. What do you want to do, right? Or you can say, I'll tell you what, we've got two ways of working each other. It's $5,000 plus $3,000 a month over the next 3 months or more, depending on how you want to do it. Or if we do a rev share, it's half and a percentage of sales, percentage of profit, not percentage of sales, right? So the more results you get, the more money we make. We'll just invoice you at the end of the sales cycle because you'll be able to track the campaign. You'll be able to track the sales, right? So there's a couple of options on how you can set that up. But the offer would be the offer to map it out, not to actually, I'm going to give you the email campaign, right? Fastest way I know to make sales is to make an offer. The best way to make an offer is something to offer relevant, but to run a sequence, not to actually make a one-shot deal. Most people run promotions that fail. I want to help you run a promotion that works. I'm going to map out a working promotion. Are you interested in me mapping that out for you, yes or no? And hi to your little kid over there, your son there on your shoulder. Or is it your wife? Yeah. Hello to your wife. So mate, that's the
Thanks,
offer.
Jim, yeah.
And then when you get to know the client, you can always say, hey, by the way, these are some of the other things we do. If you're interested, we can talk about how those things apply. But always lead with one offer, right? So whatever offer you lead, pick the offer that, one, if you can get a quick result, that's awesome. That offer of an email campaign or an offer campaign gets results fast. So that means you can get a win. If you get a win, that means they're going to spend more money with you or invest more in the time and energy with you as well, right? So that's the next part of the strategy, yeah? But always lead with one thing. And if you're leading with something that's of interest, that is relevant, the more relevant it is, the more impact they can make, that's the offer that I would choose. Because some people, they can do websites, they can do mobile sites, they can do email marketing, they can build the funnels, they can do everything, right? But it's much easier if you just go in with one offer, right? And then when they get to know you, when you build that relationship, then they can get to know the other service. You can upsell them to the other services. That gives you scope. So thank you for asking the question, Faisal. Rajesh, you got a question? Let me answer your question, Rajesh.
John, I'm looking at this same point from a mobile marketing perspective, mobile application marketing, and what I can see is the shortest. Mobile marketing is basically not the shortest way of getting things. It takes time a little bit.
Well, to develop an app, it takes time. To develop an application, it takes time, right?
Yes, development application. Yes.
But the thing but to run a promotion doesn't take time, right? But you want to sell. But the thing is, with that, you can't run a promotion on mobile without the mobile app. If the mobile app is your thing, right?
Exactly.
You've got to sell the mobile app. So my thing would be incentivize the mobile app and then run promotion second, right? So we can get your app up and running in less than 4 weeks and running your first push notifications to generate sales. Well, you're looking at 5 to 6 weeks to get a result. That's not very long. That's actually relatively quick, Rajesh. To sell a mobile app itself or to turn somebody's website into an app, right? That's a good deal. That's a good offer. Most people don't. That's a thing that's relevant to them. How do you communicate with your clients? How do you put your product in your clients' phones? You could be launching an app within 4 weeks, right?
Yeah. That's something I was looking at.
Launching an app in 4 weeks is a quick result, right? Launching an app, a programmed app with functionality in 4 weeks is a result. So hey, I can get you an app up and running in 4 weeks. and then we can send push notifications and engage customers directly and get direct response, right, from your customers. Imagine putting your business in your customers' hands so that they regularly can see that you're open and that they can engage and buy your products and services. Can I show you how that works? There's your offer, right?
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
it does not.
Are you interested in looking at a map? Are you interested in developing an app that normally costs $30,000 or $40,000 for a fraction of the cost? I can save you 90% of the cost of building an app right now, right? Branded, relevant, with push notifications.
I think that will be my first initial message.
There you go. There's an offer,
yeah.
right? Save $27,000 on an app. That's a big saving.
Exactly.
Buy an app for 10%. Buy an app for 90% off, right? There's a deal, right? I mean, that, by the way, that's a bit of an extreme deal too. I might, lessen that price point to make it more believable, right? But there's a deal, right? Hey, most people don't realize that they usually spend 30, 40 grand to buy an app. What if I can give you the same type of application, right? Under $5,000. And if we ran the first promotion that actually paid for the app and made it free, wouldn't that be cool? Right? Are you interested?
Okay. The other question I had was, I was actually looking at also, I have actually thought about the things which you talked about yesterday, giving the way of generating campaigns or putting stuff. So there is no way of actually generating leads through mobile app other than if it's a physical application and physical store, and then they have some form of a card or something which people can scan in. But
there are ways to generate the app, because you can promote the app on your website. You can promote the app through advertising. You can promote the app through forum. There's plenty of ways to get leads for people to download your app. But the first people you want to download your app are your existing customers and past customers. Your list is the first people you want to get an app, and you can incentivize downloading the app. I'll give you a classic example. So, I don't know if to look at me, you would know that I kind of like hamburgers, right? I love burgers, right? And so there's a burger joint that I go to that has organic, I know with respect to beliefs in India, I know cows are sacred, but in my world, cows are not sacred. They're sacred in other ways. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, Rajesh. This burger place has an app, right? They have an app, and this is how they got me to download the app. They said, listen, if you download the app, right, we're going to continually provide you with free fries, free drinks. You buy enough burgers, we'll give you free burgers. Or would you like to help? What we will do is we would like to provide a meal to a homeless person. So if you download our app, we're going to give whatever you order, we'll give another person, a homeless person, a free meal. I thought, that's awesome. I don't really want the free burger. I'm going to buy you burgers anyway, right? If it's going to do some good, there's a social cause to it. Yeah, I'll download your app. And I did it on the spot. Download the app, set it up, great. And every time they go, they're asking me, have you got the app? Oh, you don't have the app? We'll download it, because if you download it for the first time, we're going to free meal. And by the way, you'll get a free drink today, right? Now, I've got the app. I get, not that I go to this burger joint every week, but I get push notifications. I do go to this restaurant not frequently, but regularly, right? At least once a month, I'll go to this particular place, purely because I'm engaged now. Now, how do they get me to download the app? They incentivized it. They added it to a great social cause. That was a great offer. And they also incentivized, say, hey, look, the reason why people download social distancing, all that sort of stuff, all these relevant reasons as to why you would download the app. And so they would get thousands and thousands of people, because it's a chain. They get thousands of people downloading the app every day, right? Because they get thousands of customers in the group. So now they've probably got over 100,000 people or more, right? I would say more. There's probably 500,000 people that have the app on their phone, right? And it doesn't look fantastic. It's not the best app in the world, but the menus are there, the locations are there, the incentives are there, the savings. There's always a pop-up say, hey, you've got a burger. Hey, the reason why I love this app is it gives you a choice. I can go and get the free burger, or I can choose to give a free meal to a homeless person. And every time I've got that person, I've gone, yeah, let's give a free meal to a homeless person, right? As part of that thing. So they have a social cause and impact through the app. So that's only one example of somebody having me download their app. Right? There are many examples that I've got where I'm using push notifications, all that sort of stuff, where I've downloaded the app because they've given me the incentive to download the app. I'm paddleboarding is my thing. I've taken up paddleboarding as a sport, right? And I want to get better at it. And so what do? Right now, I'm looking. The first thing I look for was paddleboard apps, right? Apps that support paddleboarding, exercises, fitness regimes, tracking, GPS, how far I go, where I can go. I've got like 3 or 4 apps for paddleboarding, right? Because the guy who sold me the paddleboard said, we've got an app, right? You want to download that? We'll give you updates on tides, locations, deals that we've got. You want to download the app? Yep, I'll download it. Boom, right? Now I've got my own little square in my iPhone with all my paddleboarding apps, right? Because I have an interest and I'm getting notifications, all that sort of stuff. So in terms of generating leads, having an app is a very good lead magnet. Having an app is a very good lead magnet if you have incentives inside the app, right? So there's plenty. I want a free steak and a baked potato. Absolutely, Johnny. So understand, right? There are ways, like pick one aspect of what you do and offer it. You've got to stop thinking about all the things that you can do, Rajesh. This is one of the challenges because you've got a strategy that can do lots of really good things, right? Just pick one thing and run with it. Test it, run with it, improve the message. Ask them if the message or the offer isn't working. Ask them, why? Why are you not interested in this? And they go, well, I don't understand enough. Maybe they don't have enough context. Then you can make an adjustment on your offer. For everybody who's listening to this training, what I'm sharing with Rajesh is how you should be thinking about fine-tuning what you do or deliver to the market, right? So when I make an offer and the offer doesn't work, I want to know why. Hey, why didn't you do this, right? Why wasn't this relevant to you? Why didn't you buy this thing? Why are you on this thing, right? Well, because I don't know enough, or I've got questions about perhaps haven't been answered. Well, okay, great. Let me answer those questions for you, right? Does that help? Are you ready to go with that, right? Are you okay? Yes, boom. So now I know when I improve my ability to communicate the offer, I'm going to answer the question that I haven't answered and refine my offer. And naturally what's going to happen is you're going to see better results, right? So often we try something and we give up. You know, a friend of mine, Dan Martell, who's an incredible business guy. He runs SaaS Academy, who lives in an amazing part of the world called Kelowna in Canada. Absolutely beautiful, stunning place in the world. But, you know, it was something he said the other day, and I took it on board, right? He says, stop starting things, right? And stopping. Stop starting and stopping. Stop starting and stopping. And he was talking about sprints, right? I used to do sales sprints, and something that I advocated in my coaching was to do sales sprints. Now, when you do a sales sprint, you get sales, but problem is that you stop. You do the sprint for 30 days, and at the end of 30 days, you stop. And then what happens is okay, you take a breath, and then you have to, you want to get more, and you start. So you end up stop, start. So you start a project, you start an offer, you go through, you make the offer a few times, it doesn't work, right? So then that didn't work, and you stop, right? Mm-hmm. But then have you asked all the questions around that offer? Have you delved into getting the answers that you needed to make that work? And in most cases, the answer is no. It's like niches. A lot of people come to me and say, what's the best niche? Well, I can give you 3,000 best niches. In fact, I'll give you 10,000 best niches, right? Because every niche in the market needs your help, right? Do they need leads? Can they get leads on Facebook? Is somebody in that market advertising on Facebook right now getting leads? If they are, then you can help that niche if you do Facebook, right? So do they need customers? Do they need those customers to spend as much money as possible when they get there? Yes. Do they need those customers to come back again? Yes. Facebook advertising help that niche? Yes. Will it identify an audience? Will it make a direct offer to the market? Will it engage the outcome? Yes. Well, great. There's a niche, right? How is that niche doing it? Are they spending money? Most people give up too early because they don't take time to understand and find out what the problem is. Look at the ecosystem. I have a friend of mine who was kind of in the finance world, and he hated the finance world, hated it with a passion, right? Said, I made a lot of money, I know how to make money, but they were my golden handcuffs. I'm stuck in the finance world. I said, well, if you're doing what you don't want to do, then get out. He says, yeah, but I've got to replace my income. I'm enjoying the result, the income of my work is so large that if I leave it, I will lose that income. I said, well, who says you got to lose the income, right? Who says you can't do the things that make you happy, right? And then ultimately, how much is enough? How much do you want from whatever new thing if you want to do a new thing, right? And so I sat there and I said, and this person talks to me about golf. Every conversation I have with this person is golf this, golf that, played this course, did this thing, bought this club, checked out this new piece of equipment, got this new golf cap, bought a new golf shirt, golf, went out to this driving range, went to Top Golf, golf, right? Played golf, everything's golf, right? And I said, well, you love golf, yeah? So yeah, but like, how do I make money out of it, right? I can't just go, yeah, I love golf. I got to figure out a business, and I don't want to start a golf shop. I don't want to be a golf coach. I don't want to, I don't want to, manufacture a product, or that's all going to take too long, and it's too hard, and it's too convoluted. I said, yeah, but you like golf, right? So what you want to do is just pay attention to the ecosystem of golf. What is there's some areas, if you look at the ecosystem, you like look at the industry, if golf was an industry, if there's a niche, right? So what are the things in that niche? You have all the product categories, you have software, you have golf courses, you have the people who design golf courses, you have the people who provide the landscaping, you have people who manage golf courses, you have people who create software. You have people who do travel. There's golf travel. There's the ecosystem in golf, right? There's magazines up the wazoo about golf. Golf is a passion, right? By the way, the golfing industry has had a massive impact in COVID, right? In the pandemic. In some parts of the world, golf has gone through the roof. It's had a resurgence. In other parts of the world, golf has dropped down because they haven't worked out the social distancing thing, right? But it's a thing. It's a massive industry, and there's a massive ecosystem. Top Golf didn't exist 15 years ago, right? Top Golf, if anyone knows what Top Golf is, just look up Top Golf, right? Top Golf as a business didn't exist 15 years ago. Today, there's Top Golfs all over the world. They've taken a big piece of land, put 3 tiers, put a restaurant, a golf shop, and it's a golf range. And they make it look like a pinball machine. They've got colored circles to hit balls in. They do functions, events, and even in the middle of social distancing, in fact, in the middle of COVID, I've got a brand new Top Golf here on the Gold Coast, and I rang them and I couldn't get a place. It was so booked, even because they were managing social distancing. They were booked out, right? They were booked out. And $100 an hour, $100 an hour, right? And they were booked out. Now they were socially distancing, so they could. Were they minimizing their capping their income? Yes. Irrelevant. I'm still busy, still in business, right? In the middle of a pandemic, right? They educated. This is what we do. We wear gloves, sanitize. How we serve, all our waiting staff, all our people are PPE. This is how we look after you, keep you safe. Come and hit the balls, right? You can even do it in solitude and have nobody around you in a cage, right? So now this person loves golf. I said, look, I know golf's your thing. You love golf, and everything's golf, right? But look at the ecosystem and start looking for the problems in the ecosystem, and then look if anybody's solving those problems. And maybe that's something that you could solve the problem on and build a business around. And then you'll be in the golf environment. You'll be in, and you'll be surrounded by the very thing that you love, right? So he can transition from the finance business to the golf business. Now, the reason I tell you that story is not about transitioning from one service to another. Is the part of the story I'm trying to help you understand is what is the ecosystem in a niche that you're serving? Is there like to me, one of the things that are going to grow is the concept of the micro niche, right? The micro niche is the niche inside the niche. If we looked at the dental environment, how many different types of dentists are there? orthodontists, periodontists, dental implant people, the gum disease of the periodontists, the all-on-4 people, the Invisalign people, the cosmetic people, right? There's six different dentists in the dental market. Now, any one of those dental, and then general dentistry, like there's 7, and I'm sure there's a few other procedures in there that I could go to, right? So there's 7, right? Now, my question is, how big are these markets, right? Some dentists do all things. Other dentists, they specialize. There's a place not too far from me, a few miles. They only specialize, they just do all-on-4 dental implants, nothing else. That's all they do. If you want a teeth clean, you can't go there. They don't take you in. They only do all-on-4, 4 anchor points, top and bottom, kind of, it's a cheap way of doing dental implants and a fast way of doing dental implants. That's all they do. All their marketing is all-on-4, everything's all-on-4. That's all they do, right? They specialize because the procedure, $20,000 to $40,000, right? And they are booked out. Like I've rung them to say, hey, I'm just checking you out. Love the marketing. Yeah, we can't get you in for at least 6 weeks, right? So if you think about it, for 20 to 40 grand a pop, they're busy. They've got good marketing going on, right? My question is, how many other practices are there that specialize, or a significant portion of their revenue is that procedure? Then if I build a system, in fact, the reason I've chosen that is one of our champions, Serge, he devised a filtering system to have a qualified lead for all patients. The person has answered all the questions, being completely educated as to the procedure, has understood how much money they're going to have to spend to do this, how much money they have to pay in cash to do this, right? All of that is done for the dentist. So when the person's there, right, for the consultation, the quality is you're dealing with somebody who has had the education, has the understanding of how much it costs, understands the time frame of what needs to be done, and knows that the first step in the process is to, do an assessment and get an X-ray happening. So they're paying for that first meeting, right? So as an all-on-4 person, would you like to receive people just like that? Because that's all we can do. We can just give you people like that. Are you interested in us working together and delivering those types of patients specifically for you? Yes or no? Right? That's an easy sale, right? Because anybody, okay, qualified, or they know the finance, they're ready to go. Yeah, okay, let's give that a shot. I'd like to do that. My only reason, and with Serge, he said, look, this isn't for everybody who does all-on-4. You need to follow through. I can give you the person, but you got to help the person. So you need to convince me that you can sell me all-on-4. So he then qualifies the practice and listen, so tell me how you're going to sell this to me, right? Right? How are you going to respond? When I ask you this question, what do you do? How do you help me invest in all-on-4, right? Oh, I don't understand the technical jargon, don't understand that. My question again is to you, how are you going to help me? I've answered all the questions. What do I need to know to move forward to help me? And that's the thing that I need to know that you can do, because then I can give you people who are ready to go. Are you interested in that? Yeah. And then what happens is, right, they might spend 5 to 10 grand a month with Serge for the service, but they're making $40, $50, $100,000 in revenue out of the patients that he delivers them, right? So that dental practice is never going to leave, because he knows that as soon as Serge pulls out and stops, that money goes away, all right? And Serge is going to go, good, I sent you 5 people. I'm ringing these 5 people and 3 of them you didn't help. I just need to know that you're on the ball here. Let's keep this thing rolling. Do you want to continue to receive our opportunity, or shall I, if you're not interested and you don't want to help them, then I'll just go and find somebody else who wants them, because I know how to get them, right, which is what you want. So he solves a problem within the niche within the niche. Yeah. So yes. So for those of you, any other questions?
Yeah, no, that's it. Thank you very much, John.
Okay, thanks, Rajesh. Appreciate you asking the question. Grant, if I can answer a question for you, I'm here. Johnny, if you've got a question, I'll answer. Chris, if you've got a question, I'll answer the question. Otherwise, for those of you who haven't been there already, go to clientsunleashed.com. We are started. We're already kicking off. There's already units in there that you can start with straight away. The whole idea, we've got a meeting that's happening tomorrow and on Thursday for those members in Clients Unleashed. Chris, love to see you in there. I know 5 of you joined. Thank you, Grant. You've joined. Thank you. We've got a whole bunch of people that have actually joined our program. I thank you. Those here that have been looking in the lives, thank you for you being here as well. Hopefully this has been helpful and supportive. If you apply any of these things, let me know. Make some comments in the Facebook groups. But I know that if you get focused on putting an offer together, put that offer out there, engage with the market with that offer, get some feedback, offer to help people to get amazing results of what you do, I'll guarantee you that you're always going to be in the right place to generate clients. So hope you've been enjoying these lives. I want to thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you on other trainings that I'll do on the interwebs. All the trainings that I've done in the last 7 days are all in the Facebook group, in the Consulting Unleashed Facebook group. If you're not in the Consulting Unleashed Facebook group and you've seen it somewhere else, just ask to join the group. You'll see all 7 or 8 of the actual trainings. You'll be able to go back because I've outlined lots of tactical things, strategic things to help you. And in this training alone, I think I gave away about 18 different strategies, scripting, structure for you to go out to the market and generate some sales. So with that, I want to thank you for being here. Those people who are joining in Clients Unleashed, looking forward to hanging with you tomorrow on our session to move things through. And for those of you, please do go out there and actively engage. And remember to have a friend, be a friend first. Thanks for being here. I look forward to seeing you somewhere else in the interwebs, or hop in the Facebook group and, or more importantly, get into Clients Unleashed and you'll have the opportunity to go and generate some sales. So with that, I want to thank you. I look forward to seeing you in Clients Unleashed.